Hello and welcome to Who Wins podcast, where each episode we pit pop culture icons against each other in a brutal fight to the death. I am Chris Bolton. With me, as always, my partner in pugilism, Mr. Mark Williams.
Hello.
And this episode, we are pitting what is quite possibly the most evil, the most heinous, the most scheming, underhanded, dirty heel that has ever set foot in a WWE ring against the $1 Million Man, Ted Dibiase.
Yeah. No, bearing in mind with that introduction, we've done Thanos and Hitler.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say the most evil, heinous person in our ring, just in a WWE. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could do a winner stays on here.
Maybe. I mean, I do find it quite amusing, actually, that, one is a WWE Hall of Famer with a 100% record at WrestleMania and the other's $1 Million Man.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I know. But there you go. That's Vince for you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, we are pitting. We don't have to call him fucking president. He's not our fucking president. Never was. So we're pitting Donald J. Trump against the $1 Million Man, Ted Dibiase. Now we wanted to do something on across the network this month, really, to celebrate the fact that spring is just around the corner and WrestleMania is almost upon us. Now, we've mentioned on all of our shows in the past that both Mark and I have in our time been huge wrestling fans. And to be fair, I still would be were it not for the massive time investment that's involved. It's not like I have any issue with the product or anything like that. It's just a massive amount of time. I don't know, because I haven't actually seen any professional wrestling probably in about 10 years. So I can't comment on the state of the product.
Kind of hinky at the moment.
Yeah. Don't know. It's certainly not a comment on the state of the product on my part. It's just that I don't have time. But nevertheless, I always still kind of get the buzz around this time of year. WrestleMania is a huge thing. And so we thought, right, let's do something to celebrate WrestleMania. So across the pond, we love a theme on this network. So across the network this month, there is going to be a wrestling theme. And what better way to kick it off than with Ted DiBiase and Donald Trump? I didn't even have to think for more than about 30 seconds about this one. As soon as I knew that it was something to do with wrestling, I was like, right, $1 Million Man, Donald Trump. It's got to be.
Yeah, quite an obvious one. It's a good one. And not that this is going to be a wrestling podcast, and I'll jump away very quickly before people jump all over my ass on it. But when I say the product is hinky, the actual quality of the wrestling is a lot better than it has been for a long time. But the writing has gone even worse than normal. I think Vince had some sort of stroke at some point and just let his finger rest on the keyboard for far too long.
I mean, was it ever good?
No, but it's gone downhill.
I mean, WWE's booking there's a whole podcast about WWE's booking in and of itself. Although I'm sure somebody's already doing that, so we won't go there.
More than one podcast, I'm sure. But yeah, so I mean, it's something, as you said. I mean, we've been massive fans of for years. I came to it when I was about 6 or 7. Went away from it when I got too cool for it when I was an early teen and didn't want to be involved in that shit, and then got back into it round about sort of 97, 98, so a couple of years away from it, and so came right smack into the Attitude Era, and then haven't left it since. So I mean, fuck, that's 20 years.
Yeah.
Big fan. And obviously, WrestleMania is apart from last year when it was in an empty fucking arena because COVID, but they still put the product on and they still had some reasonable matches to it. But yeah, it's a big thing. It's going to it's in about 3 weeks and they'll have 30,000 people. So it's going to be a big event again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good time to get back into it.
And then everyone will hit the third wave. Anyway, moving on. Let's not get into that either.
That's American. It's not our problem.
Oh, it might be mine.
That's not my problem.
Want to fucking go there this year, for Christ's sake. Anyway, getting back into it then. So, $1 Million Man and Donald Trump. Obviously, basically, like, it's fucking unbelievable. Donald Trump, like, literally, it's as if he just watched Ted DiBiase in the 80s and went, do you know what? That's who I aspire to be.
It's funny. I always kind of attribute him to a cross between Ted DiBiase and Gordon Gekko.
Yeah, he literally is, isn't he? He's just a caricature.
It's like, what can I do to be the most duplicitous, heinous person that everyone will hate, but people will pay to see?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be Ted DiBiase, but with bigger tits.
And I think he's actually, like, Ted DiBiase is one of the first heels that I can ever remember, like, really, really having it, like, he was definitely the bad guy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I definitely had a negative reaction to Ted Dibiase, but I never actually hated him. I don't think he was that kind of heel that you kind of sort of love to hate, if anything. I could, like, for instance, if you compare him to of the era we had also people like Earthquake kicking around. No, I fucking hated Earth. Like, if I saw him in the street and I had a knife, I would have stabbed him as like a 5-year-old kid.
Deflated,
you know what I mean? Yeah, do you know what? But that's what it was, like, because of what he did to Hogan, because he put him in hospital, and like, because I think all this shit's real when I'm this big.
What, you mean it's not?
Nah, well, shocker. But Ted DiBiase, I never kind of felt like even when he was at his worst, he was always entertaining and always
that's
funny.
the thing. He was like a real life version of a mustache twirling cartoon villain.
Yes,
it was just what it wasn't the fact that he was doing the sneak attacks, or he was literally just trying to buy his way around.
Yeah,
and that was funny because you always saw him get his comeuppance.
Yeah, now see, that's funny when it's in a wrestling ring and it's been overinflated.
No geopolitics.
That's not funny when it happens in real life, and that's the weird thing about it. And where I was kind of going there is that even though he's a heel, and like, yes, you have to despise him because he's a heel and always was a heel, and for my money, still to this day, one of the best. There is nothing to like about Donald Trump. That's the problem. Like, he's not charming. He's not funny, or at least not intentionally so. So he's like somebody took Ted DiBiase and removed all of the charm and all of the charisma
and painted him orange.
And then you're just left with that. Even the hair, like, even the fucking hair. He's even got the big blonde mop. Like, all of it. They're so similar. But I mean, to pit them against each other, I think, obviously, if this got physical in any way, shape, or form, like, DiBiase's got him tied up 6 ways from Sunday, isn't he? Of course, yes. Like, sleeper hold on him, and he's fucking gone. I mean, look at the fucking size on Trump anyway. He's like, seconds away from a heart attack at any given point.
Oh, I did laugh. Was it last week that there were pictures of him at the he come in from playing golf at his resort, and all the Trump supporters were tweeting how well he was looking, how in great shape he was, and he was getting ready for another run at press. I'm thinking, he's getting ready for another run at fucking cheeseburger.
Yeah, I mean, he's hideously obese.
Don't get me wrong, I am morbidly obese.
Yeah.
But at a gnat's away from 6 foot tall, carried off a little bit better.
Yes, exactly. Whereas he's just a little poison fucking dwarf as well, isn't he? So,
although according to his doctors, he was 6'4", wasn't he?
Really? No way.
Yeah, when he added that health thing, that he was the most healthy president ever. Because he was 6'4" and like 180 pounds. Like, fucking hell, your left leg is 180 pounds, mate.
I mean, is that 6'4" including the hairpiece?
Maybe that was it.
Or did he have big shoes on?
Maybe one of the kids was standing on his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, 6'4". I don't think so.
I remember they did a shitload of memes about him standing next to like basketball players, who are in the 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" range, and him coming up to their shoulder.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no fucking way.
No, I mean, for reference, I don't know how tall Ted DiBiase is. I feel like that's something I should know and probably did once.
6'1".
There you go. So I reckon he's probably got it over Trump in height as well.
Yeah,
there's no way Trump is 6'1",
260 pounds. So probably similar in height, and probably a little lighter. So Trump's probably about 300 pounder.
Well, I mean, DiBiase stacked some weight on, but
but
if we're taking him at his prime, which I assume we are,
he's only 67 now. I thought he was older than that.
Is he really? Yeah. So he's younger than Trump anyway. So he's got age.
He's got physique. He's got technique, and he's not a cunt.
But also not the president.
Well,
neither's Trump anymore. No, but like, once you're president, you're always president, aren't you? Like, he will always be President Trump now.
Entitled.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But no, I'm president of this room. That's about as important as Trump is.
Well, yeah, I know, but still, when you weigh up, like, if it were to, because of course this is down to throwing money around and who can exert the most power. That's ultimately what this is going to be about. This will only get physical as a last resort.
Trump's in massive debt
now. Yeah, but again, we got to take him when he was like super billionaire level. Well, he was never super billionaire level, but No.
He did what Tesco did. He reported the money was there and kind of went, yeah, we'll sort that later.
I mean, that's actually kind of the irony of Donald Trump, isn't it? Where everybody thinks he would have been a great president because he's a capitalist and super smart and a great businessman. It's like, actually, no, he's really fucking not, is he? Every business he's ever had pretty much has gone bankrupt, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. And the ones that haven't owe masses of money.
Yeah.
There's stacks and stacks of debt everywhere. And I think that was when he was fighting to have his tax returns voided and so they couldn't be seized. It was like, oh yeah, but the thing is, it's like, no, that's great business. You bankrupt a business, so you aren't going to pay the tax.
No, that's not great business. That's criminal.
No, that's fraud.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah. But then again, no, it's no surprise that Donald Trump is guilty of fraud.
No, none at all. So
we're still getting sued for this episode.
No, we're fucking not. He's not going to listen to this. Fucking hell.
Also, I'm fairly sure most of it's factual anyway. Fairly sure most of it's been proven.
Well, if it hasn't, then just let it go on the record. But this is all just conjecture on our part. Now we have no facts. We're not saying this is true. We're just saying this is what we think. So
yeah, this can be another Democratic witch hunt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, like, if somebody would come after us for this, like you said, we literally on this podcast pit Thanos against Hitler, and somebody wants to come after us for this, I don't think so.
Yeah, but he's that much of a petty little twat. He would.
Although those MAGA motherfuckers are crazy, aren't they? So
yeah. Although let's be fair, if he wants to sue us, I've not got two beans to rub together, so sue me for what?
You can sue me for my headphones if you want.
Yeah, mine are on tick. They have to go back to the supplier anyway.
Yeah, you just get them out every Tuesday night and plug them in. Okay, so it's going to come down, I think, to it's going to come down to who's got the most cunning scheme. That's how this is going to work, because they've both theoretically got equaling amounts of money, shall we say? They're both rich, right? They're both super. Nobody's going to bat an eyelid at throwing money at the problem. So it's really going to come down to outfoxing the other person, I think. Now, and that is something that, again, Dibiase has in spades. I was
going to say, Trump ain't doing shit with that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. How dumb actually is Donald Trump? This is the thing.
Well, he's a very stable genius. That's what the J is for.
Yeah. I mean, there's that about it, all right? But there's a difference between, I think, being wily and being intelligent.
But I don't think he is. I think he's... From what I've seen and what I've read across various sources, various books, various articles, he's not duplicitous in as much as he's scheming and he's cunning and he's wily and he's always on the go. He's always thinking of his next one. He is always thinking to get himself out of the trouble he's already in. He's never thinking far enough ahead to go, right, I can do this, I can do this. Everything is a dodge to get away from the last dodge.
So he's difficult to pin down, is what we're saying.
But he ain't fucking smart.
Okay, so he's not smart and he has no physicality. So what has he got going for him? Money and probably the Secret Service.
I was going to say he's got some buff dudes with guns and all the fucking nut jobs.
I mean, Dibiase had Virgil.
He lost Virgil, didn't he?
Yeah, because he treated him like shit. But
So in theory, 300 million Americans should not have Trump's back then.
Well, yeah, but no, I'm not going there. I'm not
entirely different show.
There. Not going there. We are not going to get political. No more so than usual, anyway. But the thing is, like, we can't allow Trump supporters into this, can we? Because we don't normally allow. No. We only allow, like,
if there are teams, you can have teams, but if like Trump is Trump.
Yeah, and
presumably you could have his army of staffers because he went through them like fucking Spinal Tap drummers.
I mean, technically, I suppose if you wanted to go down that, obviously you could take Virgil. You could also take Andre the Giant, because don't forget he was on Dibiase's payroll at one point.
And half the NWO at one point as well.
Yeah, and actually, if you throw Andre the Giant into this, we can just all go home now. I think just forget about it. Like you just go and just step on everybody. Although, love him to bits because everybody does, but he was never really that clever, was he? He was a big dude.
He was just bigger than the other big dudes. I mean, it was the same as like when Big Show first came about. That was all he was booked as. He was booked as Andre's son because he was fucking big.
Yeah,
and he didn't have to be able to do anything. It's only over time when he realized he actually wanted a career that he learned to wrestle.
I was going to say, in fairness, Big Show does know how to work.
He always knew how to work, but he was never able to do a lot. He was able to sell a lot more than he was able to do anything else.
Yeah.
Over time, he took no. He's been around for 20 plus years, so he had a hell of a career. And as his weight came down and he became a bit more agile and a bit more flexible, his work rate went up as well. So that helped him as well. Whereas Andre, I'd say love him bits, but he was just a big fucking dude.
Yeah, just a massive
and
dude.
He just hit you hard.
Yeah, with like all sorts of health problems as well, so he couldn't exactly move around quickly. But there's potentially that as well. So I guess on one side, if you wanted to allow it in, you've got the Secret Service and a bunch of fucking nut jobs, and on the other side, you've got the NWO, Andre the Giant, and Virgil.
I know my man's young.
I mean, again, Andre the Giant, you can just see the fucking Secret Service lining up to shoot him, and just bullets bouncing off as he's fucking running towards them. Just hulking out at the motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But I think
it's got to be one-on-one, isn't it?
It's got to be one-on-one. There's no two ways about it. And I think this fight has to come down to it's gonna mostly be just fucking bitch talking. I think the two of them are just verbally gonna. It's gonna be a pissing contest, is what it's gonna be.
But again, and we've had this before. That Dibiase made. He was all right in the ring. He could move. He could work. But he was
good.
He was decent. Yeah. But there were better people around. But that motherfucker could talk.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Put a stick in his hand, he could fucking talk. Trump just waffles and chants things that gets people to repeat his chants and talks bullshit. He's not even good on a mic.
Well, see, this is why I sort of thought of him straight away when we said we need to do something with wrestling. It's because I've always thought throughout his entire candidacy and through his term in office as well, like he really does remind me of a wrestling heel, because again, when he'd be up there giving a speech, like, other presidents always look, very dignified and formal, and they have these speech writers write these beautiful, elegant speeches, and they're essentially, they're orators, they're performers, they learn how to deliver this to rally people. Whereas Trump is literally shooting. Like he just goes out on that plan. Somebody gives him a mic and they just leave him go. Yeah. And it's like, the only reason that's not funny is because he had so much power. Like otherwise, if you put him in the center of a ring and he was working a bit and you give him that, he'd be fucking great. He'd be a fantastic heel.
I think the problem is that he hasn't got the concentration to follow it through.
Well,
you put a stick in his hand, he'll start going off on Ted Dibiase, and all of a sudden he'll be talking about fucking Ted Bundy. Because he hasn't got the fucking attention span to do it.
I mean, that's fine though. You just work that into his character, don't you? It's all fuel for making him fucking so dislikable, which is what you want.
He doesn't need a lot of fuel for that.
He is easily the most punchable person on the planet. Easily, but I don't think there's any shadow of doubt.
Fucking Weeble as well. So you knock him down and you get back up,
and he'll just bounce back up. Yeah, and he's even like, it's all the more because he's actually going to egg you on to do it, because he's going to be like, come on, you won't hit me, you won't hit me, you won't hit me.
The unfortunate side of that is that he'd egg you on, you do it, and he'd fucking sue you.
Oh yeah, or probably get you bumped off. Do you know what? I think it would be worth it.
Yeah, well, I vaguely remember the day after he won the first election. I had to delete the tweet where I asked if anybody knew what John Wilkes Booth was up to the day after, and there was so much abuse that I thought, fuck, I need to take that down.
We'll try and avoid that kind of abuse here. So yeah, I think it's going to start off with the two of them just riling each other up, and you can almost see them kind of throwing money at each other as well, almost like this giant high stakes game of poker.
You're fucking wads of cash.
Yeah. Here's $1 million. And Trump's like, right, here's $2 million. And DiBiase's like, right, well, here's $3 million and the belt. And, just here's the fucking office. Like, just throw it at each other until one of them just goes, yeah, right, you're richer than me. But that's never going to happen with either of them. So some motherfucker somewhere is going to have to throw the first punch. And I genuinely think the first person to throw a punch would be Donald Trump.
Yeah, definitely.
I honestly think he'd go straight for DiBiase.
But I think that the thing would be is that because of his ego and the way he is, that as soon as he realised he couldn't outtalk him and he couldn't outspend him, that would be like a fucking mortal injury. It would be the highest insult. The fact that this guy's as rich as me, and he can outtalk me. I've got nothing left. Fuck! I need to man up and show my dominance here. And he'd probably fucking bitch slap him or something.
He probably would. I mean, if Donald Trump, just to talk about the physicality of it, we have said obviously he's overweight, he's older than DiBiase, he's not really got the reach, but it's also the fact that even if he makes a fist, forget bitch slapping, even if he makes a good solid fist to punch him, he's got the smallest hands on the planet. Says me with tiny, tiny hands. I have a small hand problem as well. But he has the tiniest hands on the planet. So it's just going to be like a tiny little boop. Like it's almost going to be like just tapping a dog on the nose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to qualify by saying that my hands are in proportion to a normal person. I'm just overly large. But there was a girl I used to work with, and I can't. There was a story behind it, but we randomly went out for drinks after work, a group of us one night, and she had these little fucking plastic hands she used to carry around in a handbag, and they remind me of Trump because they were about that big. Yeah, I can't remember the story, and I will have to ask her. I don't work with her anymore, so I'll have to email her. But she just randomly started picking up a drink with these two fucking plastic hands on sticks, which was hilarious because we were all fucking pissed. We were calling her Donald Trump all night then.
I was going to say, he has got hands like comedy fly swatters, isn't he? Yeah. That's what they are. It's almost like you expect his actual real hands to be tucked up inside. It's like the little alien that's driving the Donald Trump robots holding on to the actual little, like, proper hands and just poking these little ones through to pick things up. But yeah, even if he punches DiBiase, I don't even know if DiBiase would react, first of all. I think he's arrogant enough. He would take it and laugh.
He'd have that big fucking cackle he had.
Yeah, he would. He would laugh straight in his face and then probably throw some more money at him just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. So is that all you've got? Buy yourself new hands.
Yeah. At which point, I mean, where does Trump go from there? Like, he's thrown the first punch. Like, so he can't outspend him. He can't outtalk him. He's just proven... Can't outsmart him, and he's just proven that he's unable to physically damage him. So at this point, he's got to back down, but he's going to do it and throw a hissy fit at the same time, isn't he?
Well, it's going to be everybody else's fault, though. It'll be the cameraman's fault for getting in the way.
Yeah, or he's not going to accept the fact that he didn't hurt DiBiase. So
no, he hurt him so bad that he had to put on a brave face just to admit he wasn't crying inside.
Yeah, and I think as he's going away then, Trump's just going to start whipping whatever he can find at him in the hope that something's going to hit him and hurt. Yeah. At which point you're probably going to piss him off. There's only so much that you'll take before it's like, yeah, this isn't funny anymore.
Yeah.
So if DiBiase starts charging, that's a clothesline to Trump straight away. Yeah. Now, the one advantage Trump has here is if it starts getting into a wrestling contest, which is how this fight is going to be if it gets physical. I think DiBiase was a great worker, to be honest. I think he was quite technically skilled. So it is going to get into wrestling rather than a fist fight.
Yeah.
Trump's just going to be oily, isn't he? And slippery. Like if you try and get him in a headlock or you try and pull him up by his hair when he's on the floor, you're going to rip the toupee off. Yeah. If you try and touch any part of his body that's covered in tan, you're just going to fucking slide off.
And the rest of it's going to be all fucking gloopy and gelatinous, isn't there? So your hands
he's kind of like the Blob, isn't he?
Only with that charm.
Yeah. So I think that does kind of work to his advantage a little bit. He's also going to be quite heavy to lift.
I was going to say, I mean, if you think of DiBiase trying to get a chicken wing on him,
yeah,
he's not. It's going to be very difficult to actually lock it in.
Yeah,
because for all we said, he's not as tall as he purports to be, but he is fucking big. And he's fairly broad as well. And he's going to be flailing around and not know what the fuck he's doing. And actually, that's going to make it a lot more difficult to do anything to him, because and you see it when you get how do I phrase this nicely? Dickheads in pubs who think they can fight. They think they know kung fu and they know karate, and actually what they're doing is chopping a fucking onion with a bare hand. They can't do shit, but they flail around so much you can't actually do anything to them because any technique you've got goes out the fucking window by the fact they're just being so obstructive. And that's what would happen here.
I have no idea. I have no fighting technique whatsoever. I wouldn't fucking know. I'm not even going to pretend like I've got any kind of technique. I'm just fat and in a fight. Yeah, or that that's my move. Somebody's going to hit me. I'm just going to lie on the floor and curl up into a ball. Tell me when they're done.
I just got live.
Yeah.
I just be a dead weight. You'll never do anything to me.
Yeah, do the goat thing. Just lock your legs and fall over. That's not what he's going to do. He's going to be a great big gelatinous fucking. He's going to be fucking Mr. Tickle on the floor, just
Yeah,
arms and legs every fucking way. Probably Mr. Tickle, but more handsy, if we're honest as well.
yeah. Well,
You
he's
know,
rich. It's fine.
yeah. I mean,
He loves to
that's
do that.
do we like? Apparently, yeah. DiBiase hasn't got a pussy for him to grab though, so you know.
But Trump is one. Does that count?
He's a massive one, yeah. Well, as we've proven. So I think if they try and get into him, he is gonna. I don't think he can put that sleeper on Trump straight
No,
away.
that's the thing. Just because he's going to be flailing around and just trying to avoid wherever he can, he's never going to be able to cinch it in.
No, so he's not going to be able to get him in the sleeper hold. He's not going to be able to get any kind of lock on him whatsoever. So he's going to have to open up by.
It's going to be bludgeoning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to have to be open hand slaps. Maybe it might have to be a kick in the nuts.
Hit him with a water can, like the duels of old with the gloves. Just and slap him about the face with it.
I mean, neither of them have got enough honor to duel with gloves.
No.
Let's not kid ourselves.
But no, I mean, realistically, if you think of what you've got there, I'm imagining this as being in a wrestling ring, just because that's their.
Why?
Their common
why
ground.
wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Yeah. See, their common ground would be a wrestling ring or a bank, and I don't think Trump actually wants to go in a bank because people might see how much money he hasn't got.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had this in the room. But what's there going to be around? There's going to be chairs, there's going to be mics, there's going to be tables, and there's going to be that belt. That belt looks fucking heavy.
I mean, that belt has won DiBiase more matches than the belt's actually worth around his waist, isn't it? It was his go-to. Triple H had a sledgehammer. DiBiase had the fucking belt. Like, out come the $1 million belt, and across someone's head it went. That was the whole point. So yeah, he could open him up with the belt, I guess. But the trouble is, if you open him up, he's even more slippery, isn't he? Once he starts bleeding, that's even worse. Plus he probably bleeds fucking acid.
I was going to say, what do aliens bleed?
Yeah, he probably bleeds fucking acid everywhere, so he's going to burn you. So you got to give him a wide berth there as well. I think you're probably not on a bad shout with chairs and tables. I think DiBiase's got to go fucking old school on him.
I think he was quite handy with a chair from memory.
Yeah, I mean, classic.
We had the old blue Steelies.
Yeah,
before they padded the shit out of him.
Yeah, classic heel move. But I mean, Trump is also. I think he's got enough wherewithal to do another classic fucking cowardly manager heel move and just roll under the fucking ring. That's going to be the thing. And DiBiase is going to get out of there.
You pull the chair move. He's got an inbuilt fucking crash helmet.
True.
I mean, I don't know what that mop is made of. It's not fucking hair.
No. Well, that's where the fucking it flips up and the alien gets inside there like Men in Black, doesn't it? That's how it works. That's how you fucking steer him. But he's gonna roll under the ring. So DiBiase is going to have to go under it. Now, if he's going in under him, then anybody that's ever been in a fight or anybody that has children, I don't, but I know for a fact this is a children thing to do. If they're going to crawl into a small space and you're going to try and get close to them, they are going to kick the shit out of you.
They're going to kick, they're going to scratch, they're going to claw, they're going to bite.
Yep. Yeah. And at that point, actually, I think Trump has got an advantage because DiBiase's reaching in, Trump's already in the space, and all he's doing is kicking out with his legs. Like, it's going to fucking hurt.
Yeah. The only thing I will probably say with that is that I wouldn't credit Trump with enough intelligence to realize there are 3 other sides to the ring as well.
Yes,
so DiBiase could go around him. He wouldn't fucking notice.
I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, he totally could go around. Yeah.
I can't see Trump noticing that actually. He's stopped trying to get me. Where's he gone? He'd just be kicking his feet and thinking, well, yeah, I showed him. I won now.
Just fucking laying on his back, just windmilling. Just kicking fucking the air. I mean, DiBiase, in which case, could go up behind him and grab him by the arms and pull him out.
Yeah.
And then that's completely reversed. If DiBiase can grab him by the arms and get him out without fucking slipping off, without pulling his fucking robot arm out of joint, then
doing himself a really bad fucking hernia.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that.
That's
the point. Could Trump even fit under that fucking ring?
Yeah, you've got a good 3 foot under there.
Okay, so if you're trying to pull him out, then he's in control of him at that point. So if he can get him out of the ring, then maybe he can apply a sleeper holder. But again, he's still fucking slippery, isn't he? That's the thing.
You're going to have to twat him with a chair.
I think you curb stop him. If you get him out, like if you
Get
get
him
his head
partially out.
yeah, then you use the ropes for leverage and you curb stomp the motherfucker and just cave his fucking face in. Although you might do yourself an injury as your foot slips off his fucking oily nose.
Yeah. And then again, just once you kill the human body, what do you do with the host? With
well,
the inside.
this is the thing, isn't it? There's a massive unknown there. You know what actually is inside. Who fucking knows?
Funyuns.
What?
Funyuns, Jesus.
Well, yeah, there's definitely those, and probably all the fucking cheeseburgers in the world.
Yeah.
No Mexican food though.
Half a ton of Russian cum.
Yeah, no Mexican food.
No.
But I think if he pulls him out and starts curb stomping him, then I don't know. Could he manage to? You could probably get away with a leg drop there as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of this is just it's going to knock him unconscious. This is a fight to the death. He's got to fucking kill him. So he's going to have to decapitate him.
Yeah.
Or
either cover him in salt, because that's what happens with slugs. The inside just come out.
I'm pretty sure if you put enough salt in the human body, it would kill him. Like, not that I'm insinuating he is even human, but if you could hold his mouth open and pour salt down his throat, pretty sure that would
probably choke on it. But yeah, if you can get poisoned by salt.
Good point. I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, of course he would. He'd choke first, wouldn't he? I hadn't even thought of that. Who needs science? I mean, there's also the fact that fucking wig is going to be flammable as all hell. So if you get anything lightable, you could probably light him on fire. Between that and the fucking oil, you could fucking. I mean, you'd risk taking the whole ring up with it.
Yeah, collateral damage.
And all the money that you've piled in the centre.
Yeah. You only carry around what you're going to afford to lose. We learned that in Psycho.
True, and there's something quite poetic in actually burning all the money with him. You could always just stick him on the pyre in the middle, couldn't you? And just use the money to set him going. Just watch his fucking tiny little arms and feet flail around like some sort of fucking demented T-Rex as he's being burnt on top of a pile of money.
Well, I would be very concerned as to what would come out once the skin suit melted.
Like I said, great unknown. We've got to, against our better judgment, we've got to take him at face value and assume you only need to kill him once. And there aren't a billion Horcruxes out there with little pieces of fucking Donald Trump stuck.
Maybe that's where his hands went.
Yeah, that's what he's used them.
It's a new one. He loses a layer of skin off his hands.
He's used them to make Horcruxes. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But no, we'll take it at face value. You've only got to kill him once.
Yeah, let's take it the funny. He appears human, so let's take him as human.
Yeah. So we pull him out from under the ring. We curb stomp him, which you could knock him unconscious, at which point he becomes a dead weight. So he's still slippery, but at least he's not fucking octopusing all over the floor. Yeah. So I mean, there's multiple options at this point now, isn't there? We can get him into the center of the ring, and we can burn him at the fucking stake. We can.
If he's a dead weight coming from under the ring, you ain't getting him in the ring.
No. Okay, so you need to kill him where he stands on the floor. I mean, curb stomping will kill most things if you keep doing it.
Yeah.
But how much curb stomping does it? I feel like we've gone way darker even than we usually do here tonight. How much curb stomping does it take to actually kill somebody? Bearing in mind, Donald Trump's really fucking old.
From experience, the 0 curb stomps I've ever done and the 0 murders I've ever committed, apart from on this show, I don't know. I mean, it depends what you're doing on, doesn't it? Presumably, I mean, if you're doing it, if you're doing it on a mat as opposed to concrete, it's going to be different. If you're doing it onto a steel chair, it's going to be different. If you're doing it on fucking spikes,
because it's not like he's making him actually bite the curb, is he? He's on.
And not only that, I mean, you kind of rely on 2 things. You rely on the angle of the neck, but you also rely on there being enough room for it to move.
Yeah.
So if he's a dead weight on the floor and his head is prone on the floor, there's not actually that much movement in the neck.
That's a good point, actually, as well. Because if he's unconscious, he's going to go floppy, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
I'm basing my understanding of curb stomps on American History X there as well.
That is how I judge all curb stomping activity.
Yeah.
That
okay.
is
as long as you're clear on that.
I thought that was the recognised text for how to evaluate a curb stomp.
That's the standard. So I mean, if he's got a limp because he's unconscious and flaccid and old, then there's not anywhere for his neck to go, really, is there? So you're not going to get that leverage to break his neck. by
No.
good tramping.
No, you're not. And
Well,
you can't put.
if you
You can't
stop
put
his skull in with a chair, for example, that's going
that
to have
would work.
more effect. Or the
Yeah.
ring steps, or a spare sledgehammer that's been left lying around, because there's always one of those under the ring, apparently.
Well, not in those days. There wasn't, was there? This was very much like a chair shot was as bad as it got, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, and
But
a belt
these,
unheard of. But then again,
that
Trump's
belt.
peak of his power was last year, so
Maybe a cane if your manager had a cane or something like that. But there was never, you wouldn't be getting your fucking sledgehammers and
trash
certainly,
cans.
yeah, tables and fucking ladders and shit like that. There's none of, I mean, oh no, again, you'd have to get him out. I was gonna say you could fucking hang him through the ropes, but you'd have to get him vertical.
Not necessarily.
Okay, explain.
Okay, so and again, engineering not really my thing. I do words, but if you were to disconnect one of the ropes at one end,
Uh-huh.
and then bring it down, loop it around his neck,
And then winch him.
and then winch him back up.
There's an idea.
Yeah, so as long as you can get enough pull to get the clip back onto the buckle, you can winch him back up and strangle him. You can full on jabber him.
Good old fashioned lynching. There's something really
irony
ironic about that. Yeah, there really is, isn't it? There really, really is. I think that is how it's got to be.
I think in terms of sheer poetry and nothing else, that's got to be it. You lynch the motherfucker. The only thing you can't do is hang him from a tree, so there's not a tree in the middle of the ring.
No, I mean, you have to assume there'd be some at least attempted interference from Vinnie Mac, but because they're like besties. But then if we're not allowing anyone else in, then we ain't allowing him in either. So I think that's it. And quite possibly the most one-sided fight we've ever had. But it was always going to be. It was just fun to talk about beating the shit out of Donald Trump.
To be fair, it's much the same as when we did the Hitler episode. To be honest, it was just fun to talk about massacring Hitler.
Yeah, pretty much.
Although I think he did mount a slight offense. So yeah.
Whereas Trump's offered absolutely nothing other than a tiny little T-Rex open hand slap.
Much like his presidency.
Pretty much, yeah. All he did was show up and make things worse.
Yeah. Story of life, really, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, we just leave him dangling there from the ropes. Yeah. And then Dibiase can he hasn't burned any of the money, so he can literally pick up all of the money.
Yeah.
And take that with him as well.
Yeah. I remember actually there was a skit that they did for some anniversary on Raw where do you remember Eugene, the slightly educationally stunted character? They were playing. It was a skit after his wrestling days. They brought him back they brought them both back for a special, and just to show how little thought went into DiBiase and how shit he was as a character. They bet him he couldn't bounce a basketball 100 times. And then on 99, DiBiase punted it out of the way just so we could take $1 back off him. For fuck's sake.
Jesus. I mean, again, something Donald Trump would do. It really is like, it's like Ted Dibiase became real and got into power. It's unnerving.
It's absolutely fucking terrifying is what it is.
Yeah.
There you go. Done now.
We hope.
Well, yeah. I mean, fucking hell. If anybody does know any good snipers, please. No, I'm not saying that because that's incitement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although that apparently fucking happens when you incite violence, so you know.
Hey, here's an idea. Let's not incite an international incident on a Tuesday night. Yeah, that's not that we have any fucking power whatsoever, but who fucking knows who's listening?
According to the stats, nobody.
Yeah. So okay, we can say what we want then. So yeah, do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in the fight between Donald Trump and Ted Dibiase absolutely fucking marmalizes him, which is such a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to apologize for that. Okay, we've spent sometimes.
I'm going to apologize for the fact it took us quite so fucking long to do it.
Well, I was just about to say sometimes these things, we come up with what we think are really well balanced, great fights, and they turn out to be really one-sided, and they're over in 20 minutes, and then we're like, oh, okay, that was a definitive victory. This could have easily been over in 20 minutes, but it was too much fucking fun to think of the myriad ways that we could cause. And I'm sure we could go for another fucking 40 if we wanted to. Yeah, I've just ways that we could cause pain. But he's an old man. We'll let him off the hook.
He's a fat old man, and we killed him like they killed Jabba the Hutt. Can't say fairer than that.
Good point. That really is. This just works on so many levels, doesn't it?
Fucking hell! It's like we actually worked out what we're doing finally after 7 years.
Yeah. It's all really poetic. It works perfectly fucking well. He got lynched just like Jabba and lost all his money. Couldn't ask for any fucking more.
No, I think that's pretty much going to do it.
Apart from maybe Hogan running down to the tune of Real American and waving the flag while he's dead, just to illustrate.
Dancing on his corpse.
Yeah. And just fucking throwing money everywhere.
I'll say that the way Hogan's going at the moment, you never know which fucking side he'd be on.
Probably Trump's.
Yeah.
Let's not ruin my childhood,
eh? Yeah, so I mean, for the people who are listening, I'm sure there are going to be thoughts on that. Obviously, if you are one of the MAGA nut jobs we mentioned earlier, please don't write in and please don't shoot me.
I mean, you can have a go at writing to us. I will just call you a fucking idiot. So
this is true, although we may not be that polite.
Probably not.
But yeah, by all means, get in touch as usual at DD Podcast Net on Twitter, on Facebook and YouTube, the Double M Podcast Network. You can go to our website, ddpodcast.net, where you can get in touch with us through there, as well as get some of our previous episodes, like the aforementioned Hitler versus Thanos SmackDown. Wherever you get your podcast from, be it iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Amazon Music, like, share, subscribe, leave us a message, and we'll get back to you as best we can. But until next time.
See you later.